Hi everyone, Katie Gehring here for Waffle Flower Crafts. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I created this peekaboo panel card featuring stamps and dies from Waffle Flower's Summer 2017 release. So to get started, I am going to stamp the front panel of my card using the Plaid Play stamp set and several of Waffle Flower's Color Story ink collection, including You Said What, New Fish in the Pond, Safe Choice, Chirp Chirp, and Tickled Pink. So to stamp the plaid pattern, I am using my Misty Stamp Positioner, and this comes in really handy, not only because of the grid that is on the lid, but also the graph paper grid that is on the stamping surface. This enables me to make sure that my lines are somewhat straight. I'm not looking for perfection here because I'm going for kind of a whimsical, fun look, but this makes sure that I am at least in the ballpark of having a straight plaid pattern. To build my plaid pattern, I'm going to first stamp all of the lines going in the horizontal direction, and then I'm going to stamp everything that is vertical. And in between colors and lines and stamp presses, I'm just kind of making sure that everything is staying somewhat flush and straight. And I'm also using the Misty to be able to add a couple of layers of ink to the stamped panel if the line didn't completely stamp in a solid manner. So here I'm adding just one of the skinnier lines in the stamp set with a little bit of Chirp Chirp ink and wiping up the excess from my stamping surface to make sure that I'm not going to get any extra ink transfer onto my final stamped product. With all of the horizontal lines stamped, I'm moving on to the vertical, and I'm going to start with some thicker lines that are going to be stamped with the New Fish in the Pond ink. And I just love the way that all of these different inks look and kind of blend together so nicely. And you know, the name Plaid Play for this stamp set is just really perfect because it is one that it just encourages you to play, try out different color combinations, try out different plaid patterns. You could do it at a diagonal. You could do something, you know, maybe that's in line for a holiday. Really, there are endless possibilities with this stamp set, and I really had fun playing with it to kind of create this very sweet storybook looking plaid that's going to be on the outside of my card. I'm going to finish up my plaid pattern with just a couple of touches of yellow along the purple stripes, and now I'm ready to create my peekaboo panel. To create the panel opening, I pulled out my Lacy Layers 2 die set, and I'm using one of the rectangles that has kind of a scallop detail along the edge, and I'm going to cut out the center of my panel. And I know what you're thinking, all of that beautiful plaid, I just cut it right out of the panel, but I will put that aside and use that on a future project. So now I am ready to die cut the actual card base of my card. And to do that, I am lining up the plaid panel that I've already cut out the center of, and I'm just going to use that to help position where my die needs to be to cut through the top layer of my note card. I'm going to get that positioned to secure the die in place with a little bit of washi tape, and then I'm going to run the note card through my die cut machine. So now I have pulled out the scenery die, and I'm going to create a few different layers of scenery for both the peekaboo portion as well as the inside of the note card. And this really adds quite a bit of dimension and fun to the card because there's going to be some stuff that's going on the outside of the card, but then because that panel has been cut away, you're going to be able to kind of peekaboo and see into the inside of the card. Now, before I adhere the inner layer of scenery, I want to add a little bit of ink to the inside of the note card. So I am doing that using New Fish in a Pond ink and an ink brush, just to give a really light wash of the pale blue color. And I will tell you guys, I am late to the ink brush party, but I love them. I recently picked up a few when I was at a local craft store, and they just really enable you to add a light touch, a light wash of ink. Sometimes I have a hard time when I'm using like the foam daubers, really getting that light touch, because apparently I'm a little heavy-handed with my ink. But the ink brushes are definitely the way to go if you just want a light wash of ink on your project. Now I'm ready to add these images from the Tea for Two stamp set to my card. And what I did is I took a piece of white cardstock, I stamped them with a Copic friendly ink, and then I colored in the various images using Copic markers. And I kept the color scheme really kind of sweet and whimsical, almost so that they would have a storybook feeling to them. I really kept to just kind of the browns, the tans, and then also pinks, yellows, and aquas. So I am positioning my stump here on the outer layer of the card, the front of the card, and then I'm going to position the bears behind the stump, because they are going to be having a tea party, and I want it to look on the outside as if they are using the stump as their tea party table. But there's going to be a lot of elements. It's quite the extravagant tea party that these two little bears are having. So there's going to be a lot going on the outside of the card, but then also some fun surprises in store when you lift up the card. So I have positioned that cake that's going to be right behind the stump so that it's not viewable to your recipient when they get the card, and it will look on the front like they're dining on macaroons and cupcakes and maybe a slice of cake or pie. But then when you lift the card, you're going to see that there is so much more fun details going on the inside. And I just love all of the extravagant details that have been included in this darling Tea for Two stamp set. It reminds me of a teddy bear picnic, and you know, that song was always a favorite for my little girls when they were growing up, and I think that this card will find its way to my little niece when she celebrates her first birthday in a few months. So I'm just positioning the last couple little elements here, trying to figure out a home for that little bunny. I decided to go ahead and put him back in the bushes along with some of the flowers that are included in the stamp set. I'm just making sure that everything is adhered down securely using a tape gun, and that everything is going to stay in place nicely when this is complete. I've pretty much got all of my elements in place. I'm just going to give it a final flip up, and I end up deciding that that little sprig of aqua flowers really isn't adding much to the card. So now I'm going to pull out another stamp set called Bear and Bird, and this stamp set was illustrated by the same artist that did Tea for Two, and it has a sentiment included inside that says have a very good birthday, and I think that this sentiment just goes really nicely with the Tea for Two stamp set. And that is going to wrap up my card for today. I hope that this video and this technique inspires you to introduce a little peekaboo element into one of your future card projects. For more information about any of the products that I used in today's video, please visit waffleflower.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook for even more creative ideas. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.